All right, picked up a new addition to the role-playing game collection. This is Tricube Tales, and it's another minimalist game. Uses 3d6, and that's it, and some markers or paper, whatever, to keep track of karma and resolution. So the author of this developed it for so he could play role-playing games with his 5-year-old son. But again, it's like Tiny Dungeon. It's a really elegant system. In fact, it's even a little more simple than Tiny Dungeon. Horribly flexible and inexpensive. I mean, you can get it for free if you want it. Yeah, he also released it on PDF for cell phones, so you can have it handy on your cell phone. And you can see there's almost nothing to it. Character creation is super simple. Find the characters here. So what you do is you pick one of 3 attributes, either crafty, brawny, or agile, and you'll roll against those attributes depending on the test you're rolling against. You'll have an archetype, which is a very basic one-line description of what your character. In this case, this guy's a brawny orc mercenary, or this guy's a crafty inventor, or whatever. You will pick a perk, and this is again something, if you can apply the perk to one of the tests, you roll at advantage. And in this case, his perk is Blade Master, or in this case, his perk is a high-tech power suit. And then you also pick a quirk. And if you roll against the quirk, you roll at disadvantage, but you can regain karma or resolve points back as you play. In this case, his quirk is greedy. In this case, his quirk is a vigilante. But you pick just anything, anything that you think you can use in the story. And like most of the minimalist games, it's heavy into the narrative. So you guys better be ready to do cooperative storytelling. We're about as far away from the old miniatures wargaming as you can get. Although the author did release Tricube Tactics for people that would like to get a little more into the miniature wargaming or whatever. Although this is totally adaptable to just anything you want to do. You just break your tests down to whatever level of play you want to do with it. So I like hard copies, so I bought the little soft cover. Again, horribly inexpensive, but I could have gotten it for free. But the other thing that he puts out periodically are these 1 or 2 page genre, and these are actually complete games in and of themselves. This gives a little more in depth into the rules. These actually contain the rules, but they've got all these different genres. In this case, Eldritch Apocalypse, so it's sort of a Cthulhu based, and it gives you characters. Tells you the challenges. You can roll for what the main quest is going to be about, and then on the second page, it gives you threats, locations, complications that you can just either roll against or use to develop essentially one shots, but all different genres. And again, you can get these for free, or they're very inexpensive. The PDFs are, I think, like 50 cents a piece, but very expensive. Eldritch Detectives, Spell Runners, which is sort of like Shadowrun. It's a cyberpunk with magic. Voyage to the Isle of Skulls. This is like King Kong with the Monster Island or Skull Island or whatever. Arcane Agents, and these are basically secret agents who use magic. I've also got cyberpunk in here. I've got a Stone Age. Oh, here, Hunters of Victorian London, which is kind of cool. And he says what he based it on. And this was sort of based on like Penny Dreadful or the old Bram Stoker or the old Penny Dreadful novels or the Jekyll and Hyde or whatever. But so you're playing in Victorian London, investigating or fighting or however you want to play it. This is the thing. Very flexible, but horribly inexpensive. I got a whole bunch of these little genre games or settings or whatever you want to do, and I picked up a little book. And again, I've gotten all of it for free. But I'm really liking this, and I'll probably pick up a few more of the little genres. But he's got space, science fiction. I picked up 3 or 4 of those. He did like 3 or 4 loosely based, shall we say, reminiscent of Star Wars, and so if you want to play something and don't want to have to come up with it yourself, you can grab one of those and go from there, and you've got a one-shot all set to go. And each of those is standalone. You don't need the complete rules set because it does have the rules on there because they're so simple. And that's the neat thing. It is so simple. You come up with a challenge. Um, you just apply, the simple rules of rolling, however many dice, and applying your perks or your quirks, and go from there. Um, and then it's just like it's a cooperative storytelling. Now I think and again, this is a failure on my part for just lack of imagination. That is going to require some imagination, some work on the part of both the dungeon master and, of course, or game master, excuse me, and the players. So it's much more into the narrative, much more into storytelling. Totally suitable for campaign. All these people look at the minimalist stuff. Oh, it's not good for one shots. It's great for one shots, especially great for introducing somebody to role playing games because it is so simple. But it, they if you want to stretch it out to a campaign, you can. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Now, if you're really looking for sort of the video game type stuff where you're increasing levels until you're essentially godlike, then you can make adjustments to this, and all you do is just change your challenges for your characters, or add perks, quirks, afflictions, whatever you need to do to go from there. But yeah, this is, I think, a definitely worthy addition, especially to my little minimalist collection, Tricube Tales, and I'm glad I picked it up. And just so inexpensive, even if you want to get the hard copies, which I don't mind throwing. Guy put in a lot of work in this, and it's really enjoyable. So I don't mind throwing him a couple of bucks. It's not much. You get it over Drive Through RPG, and you can look through. And like I said, his little 1 or 2 page genre settings is just fantastic. I mean, he's got all these different things all set to go. I haven't played it yet. I think you could probably pick one of those up and play it cold simply by rolling on the charts for what's going on. And people speak very highly of this for solo play. I personally don't like tabletop solo play. That's just me. To me, I grew up under the old D&D and whatnot. So the point for me was to get together with other people and engage. So the idea of solo play, I know a lot of people like it, and it's a good way to learn the mechanics, good to get into the stuff, and especially if you have trouble scheduling with other people. Um, and I also don't care for the online uh, play. If I want to play a tabletop, I want somebody here, and, hand out snacks, and kid around, and just whatever. But that does scheduling, and especially when people move away and long distance, whatever. It's much easier to find a game on one of the virtual tabletops or Discord or whatever, or keep a campaign going where people can log in wherever they happen to be at for a session. But yeah, the Tricube Tales, they have a set of solo rules that you can get. They have some uh, solo settings that you can work in, and the people that have used it say it's fantastic for that. So, you know, but like I said, I'm really pleased I picked it up, and it's different from both the Easy D6 and the Tiny Dungeon that I picked up previously. And I'm going to pick up. I still want to get Tiny Cyberpunk, possibly Tiny Supers over in the Tiny D6 stuff. But for right now, like I said, it's a worthy addition to the collection for sure.